Brother Speegle's house. He bought this and he's got a museum. But first I want you to see is part of his Garden of Eden up here. He calls it his Garden of Eden because it's got flowers in there and he keeps them all winter. There's some of them right there. It's in bloom now. This museum, an old mule barn that's there years ago when they done the street work by mules and stuff like that. I think he said they kept 50 mules in there. This is Brother Speegle taking Lutel into the museum building. I noticed on the door, you can't read it here, but it says Garden of Eden. And that flower place over there, he called that the Garden of Eden once before when I was here, and that's all I knew to call it this time. Garden of Eden sign right inside of his museum door. Yeah, okay.
Okay, we got the old Garden of Eden here, and it depicts the Bible from here on through, and that's Adam and Eve hid behind the bushes where they've sinned, and there's the old devil down there that's caused Eve to sin. And those are things that was in the Garden of Eden. And up there is the tree of life that stood in the midst of the garden. And over here on the other side then is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And it's man's ideas. It's man's inventions and things that man has made. Instead of following God and obeying God, he went his own way. So that's what caused him to die. As he said that you walk after the flesh, you die, but if you through the Spirit mortify the deeds of the body, you live. So Adam and Eve, they died, and as they had to be put out of the garden, there's old Adam out here plowing his old mule, or working his mule, and he had to earn his bread by the sweat of his face, and everything from here on is what he had to do. He had everything wonderful in the garden, but now he's got to earn his bread by the sweat of his face. And this represents old Abraham and Isaac, and Isaac is turning the grindstone. Isaac's turning the grindstone, and Abraham is grinding his axe. That represents another part of the Bible. And over here on the floor, we have old Adam plying the mule there. And there's his son Cain that went hunting. And Abel's over there milking the cow. And old Eve's back there washing on the rub board. And that's the way they had to live after they sinned. So we go on then to David and Goliath. David carrying the old giant's head back to the king after he had slain the old Goliath with a little slingshot. There's his slingshot and his rocks there. So that represents all from Adam to Abraham and David. And over here, we can get this. That's Moses, Elijah, and Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. So we've got everything from Adam right on through Abraham, and now as Moses and Elijah the prophets, and Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration. Every one of those things represents the Bible, and then we have Jesus, and that's made out of one piece of wood that two limbs grew together, and Jesus is carved out of one limb, and the cross is the other. So that's the end of the law. That Jesus is the end of the law for everyone that believes. And over on the board there is our church. We had pastored churches for 40 years, and there's a church we had at Athens in 1939, 50 years ago, and all of these up here is different churches we had around Oak Grove and Waterloo and different places. And now we've got 14 different mission projects that we work with. And there's 7 churches that we built overseas as we helped build overseas in Haiti and Dominican Republic and Mexico and Costa Rica and different places. So that's our church work now that we are involved with, and nursing homes and jail and prison. We have several ministers and 4 different nursing homes that we're working with. Hospital, visiting the sick, and we stay busy. There's the old buggy that we picked up pieces for 30 years to piece at the place to get a buggy, and then I said they had to have a horse to go with it, so we carved out a horse. Now we got the old horse and buggy days here.
That's the old buggy there. He pieced up just piece by piece. And he didn't have a horse to put to it, so he built him one out of wood. Here it is. All harnessed up and hitched to the buggy. I'll move up a little. This is a side view of his horse. This is a horse's head. What was it, Brother Speegle, about you having this on display and the police said you had to get the horse out?
Yeah, our house got fire, and this was in the carport over at Athens, and the police were calling over the intercom and telling the fireman, said, "Be sure and get that horse out of there." I saw a horse standing in that carport, said, "Be sure and get that horse out of there."
Here's usually there's old tools on the wall, wrenches and hammers and things.
There's the old yoke and the cradle up there they cut the wheat with. The old plow tools, the old planter and turning plows and things. Yeah, better not get in that. That's got a lot of old paint stuff. I'm still painting on that building.
He says this is a little wild church.
Little
wild church.
Brown church in the wildwood. Yeah, that represents the old country church. There's the old water mill over here, and street going out in the country. I just do these paintings by guesswork. Keep painting on them. I still got a lot to do. Now we're going to run into the old country store. The old country store that had everything you needed. And that wasn't much but soda and salt and tobacco, kerosene, and a few items that you had to have. The rest of it you got out of the barn and the chicken nest and around the house and the field. But we had to have a little patent medicine and a few little whatnots. Now we're going to get over here on the little prodigal son.
I'm on that lady of washing now. That
Yeah, that's the old washing. That's the old washing machine. The first mechanical washing machines they had. They used that up, put clothes under it, and wring them dry. And there's the old rub board, and here's the first washing machine you use for chunking the clothes in the pot. That's about everything that we...
Okay, I'm to the end of that old country store now. Focused in on it. Okay, that looks good. This is the prodigal son when he came in after feeding the swine. They're dancing. You can see him dancing, the guy up there on the left playing with the fiddle. We'll pull it up a little bit. There's a fiddle player. The guy down there on the drums patting his foot. Okay, brother, please. Well, I wish you had what few antiques I've got, because I can't display them like this.
That's it. A lot of people want to buy these things, you know. Well, what business would it be if you had it? You just put it up somewhere, nobody'd ever see it, and if I keep it here, well, if I had to have some money to buy some food or something, I could sell it, but if I don't, what's the use? I'd rather have that than money.
Yeah, that's what my niece used to come by. She dealt in antiques. And I'd have them things. Say, you get a lot of money out of them. I'd say, yeah, but I wouldn't have the things then.
Yeah, that's what people come up with. Oh, you got this locked up? Is this safe? And that I think most of anything, I guess, it's most valuable because it's all the old Coca-Cola paraphernalia from 1886. Even got a bottle that come from Jacob's Pharmacy in Atlanta where Coca-Cola was invented, and all the different kind of bottles that they've used and the advertising material. And then here's the old lady doing her churning.
This is another mannequin. He's got motorized here, churning. Done pretty good, looks to me like.
Kind of churners that they had back in the days, and they churn their own butter. Yeah.
That's the old churns down there.
There's the old wood stove. The old wood stove and the milk bottles and fruit jars and things that people used to can their vegetables so they could live in the wintertime. You couldn't run down to the store and buy a gallon of milk or that's the old, represents all the old timey bottles that they made. Ink bottles and ink wells and things. Way back, old liquor jugs and demijohns. A lot of valuable bottles there that people like to collect and keep them, but we just like for people to remember old times, remember childhood days. With all the different kind of old medicines, herb juice and Lydia pickums, cod liver oil, and all different kind of old medicine bottles go back into 1800s. Most of these things are 100-year-old in here. Nearly everything is at least 100-year-old. Represents history for a lot of hotels and World's Fair and things that gone by. Things that
This is doll direct collection.
There's the old stereoscope. Look through, that's the first three-dimensional. A lot of glassware, carnival glass and depression glass and goofus glass. Over in that place is my wife's little miniature bottle collection. She built that up and got first place in a show that we put on one time. And so we're going around over here, the old catalogs and different kind of literature. And the old McGuffey's reader got from first grade through the 6th grade, a McGuffey reader and the blueback speller in there, which is very valuable.
Oh, yes.
That's the old desk there that is used in the stores a lot. Kept the records.
Start talking again.
Yeah, this is an old glass foot table, real old. It came from an old church. It was torn down in Huntsville, and no telling how old it is. There's the old daddy's chair, and his old spittoon when he trod the brown mule. The old spinning wheels and the old Dutch oven hanging over the fireplace, and a lot of paraphernalia, the old bugles and things they used in the army, an old gun up there that was used in the Federal War, but you can't see it very well. Old spool cabinet, the old meal box, sugar box they call it. Desks and old trunks. And going around over here, then we find the old machine, one of the first machines, and there's the old telephone up there on the wall and the old phonograph. And all of these are little memorabilia items that we've picked up here and there. There's the old fluter iron that they iron their skirts with. Little balances that came from a drugstore. Curling irons. I've been collecting these things about 35 years, and I just keep everything I find and find a place to put it somehow.
I'm through with this part now. I want to get some of those wooden relics you've got on the other side for sure. Mm-hmm. Start on some of these things that Brother Speegle's made, and this is one he said is the only thing he ever saw that died laughing. It's a tree or root or some kind. This is Satan right here, trying after he's deceived Eve. I'm going to turn up here to Adam and Eve again and get them. I want a close-up of them. That's Adam behind the bushes, and Eve right beside him. Hope you can see it good.
You're standing in the light of
Better view of them with the light turned on them, and the bushes there behind there.
I picked up.
This is a piece of shittim wood he picked up, I suppose, around Huntsville. He calls this the goose that laid the golden egg. There's the eggs behind it there. And then here's other things that he's picked up. It looks like animals and birds and things. Yeah, there's one right there. He's
And a crane.
It's a crane. He's
Road runner over there.
running right down there. He made out of a root or something. That's a cypress knee.
Yeah, that cypress knee, that's a woman holding her little baby and the young woman standing in front of her.
Yeah. He said there's a woman holding her baby and a young woman standing in front of her, in case you didn't hear what he said.
Get a close-up.
Yeah, it's
This
different
is my
kinds.
bird of paradise.
Yeah.
That's a horse I carved while I was on the job for the city of Huntsville. I carved that in the car while I was working for the city. So Monty say no tradition, Monty say no. The chief said to his daughter, Monty say no.
This rostrum here is about a foot wide. And that's a preacher right behind the pulpit there. I wanted you to get a glimpse of it. Right here is made out of a sweet potato. All he had to do is put the legs on it, set it up there. And here's an Irish potato that he just dug the other day. Didn't have to do anything to it, only set it up here.
Yeah, I put the ears on it.
Yeah, he put the ears on it, he said. Pretty good replica of something, though. I don't know what. Gets to where I can see all of it, and I leaves down.
All right. You want to read it? You want me to read it?
You can read it if you want to.
I don't want to be somebody great and live like a king and miss the gate. Neither do I want to be poor and beg and be remembered like a broken leg. I just want to walk down the middle of the road and help someone who's carrying a load. I like for folks to enjoy the things I have to share and to be remembered as one who cares.
This is some of Brother Speegle's flowers he's got here on his back, on the back side of the house. It's a great long vine runs around here. Got pretty red flowers on it. That's the prettiest bunch right there. And we're going around here. You can see how this vine runs around on the fence like. Just keeps going around here. And he puts his flowers in this little shed that's about to come up to the door here. Right here is his, this is his door to his, he used to call that his Garden of Eden. He keeps that heated and he's got it insulated and everything for to keep his flowers through the winter.
A little better than I did last year. Just saying.
This is Brady
How you doing?
Daisy meeting Kate.